Very good morning, class 11. So let's start with our today's English class. With that, let's continue with the chapter Silk Road, which we have already started, written by Nick Middleton. We are just in the ending of this chapter. So let's try to understand what are the things left here, what we need to do actually, right? So we were on page number 80. We have read the last that how the narrator was sitting at Darchan's only cafe because Sten had left for Lhasa, and how he was looking here and there. The Chinese boy came. Uh, we heard about, we read basically about the general stores and how he was feeling there, right? About that lake and all. So now let's see what happened. And then we even read about the positive thinking, the self program on positive thinking. So now we are having page 80 at the end only. In my defense, it hadn't been easy with all my sleeping difficulties. But however, I looked at it. I could only wait. The pilgrimage trail was well trodden, but I did not fancy doing it alone. The Kura was seasonal because parts of the route were liable to blockage by snow. I had no idea whether or not the snow had cleared, but I wasn't encouraged by the chunks of dirty ice that still clung to the banks of Darchan's brook. Since then had left, I hadn't come across anyone in Darchan with enough English to answer even this most basic question. So when he was sitting alone there, he was thinking about various things, about his difficulties in sleeping. Then he even thought about that pilgrimage, and he was not interested to do it alone actually. He wanted to complete the Kora, someone should be there, right? And there was the snow, and he was clueless whether there were the still chunks of there was icy snow there or not, or it has been cleared up. So he said that when Sten had left, after that he was not able to meet anyone who knew English, who can answer to his question at whether he can start his journey towards Kora, whether he would be able to complete it, whether the snow has been removed or not. So he was confused because when narrator decided, or when narrator was doing that Kora, it was not that seasonal time period, right? So it was basically number of people were not there at that time. So that Kora is something when people do it on the seasonal basis, but he was out of the season, or not at that peak time of that season. Until now he met another character, that is Norbu, important one here. He met Norbu. The cafe was small, dark and cavernous with a long metal stove that ran down the middle. The walls and ceilings were wreathed in sheets of multicolored plastic of the stripped variety, broad blue, red and white, that is made into stout, voluminous shopping bags sold all over China and in many countries of Asia as well as Europe. As such, plastic must rate as one of China's most successful exports along the Silk Road today. So then author described about that he met Norbu in that cafe only, that cafe which was small, which was dark. There was one window only, and the wall and ceilings, which was covered with the multicolored plastics. A number of like broad blue, red, white, number of plastics were there. And these plastics, which we can say, is the major source of China's successful export actually. So China is more successfully exporting in plastics. So that's why the description is here. That's why the Silk Route has been even used for that. Now the cafe had a single window beside which I had taken a position so that I could see the pages of my notebook. I would also brought a novel with me to help pass the time. So he mentioned I was sitting there, although there was only a single window. I had my notebook with him. He always used to carry a book or a notebook with him. And whenever he needs to pass time, whenever he felt alone, he used to read or write in that basically. Norbu saw my book. So another person who was sitting there in the cafe, Norbu, he saw his book when he came in and asked with a gesture if he could sit opposite me at my tea table. So he came and with a gesture, like while pulling the chair or while keeping the hands on the chair, with a gesture he asked whether he can sit with him there or not. You English? He inquired after he had ordered tea. I told him I was, and we struck up in a conversation. So as soon as Norbu said he ordered for a tea, Then he asked from the narrator, do you know English? Are you English? Are you English basically? And when he even said yes, then they both started their conversation, because now a narrator found a person who knew English, and even Norbu got a person there. I did not think he was from the parts because he was wearing a wind cheater. So that person, there's a description of Norbu, he was wearing the wind cheater, means that protects you from the cold waves actually. And metal rimmed spectacles of a Western style, so wearing the specs of the Western style. He was Tibetan. Now there's a description of Norbu. He was Tibetan, he told me, but he worked in Beijing at Chinese Academy of Social Sciences. In the Institute of Ethnic Literature. I assumed he was on some sort of field work. So there is a description of Norbu. Although he was a Tibetan, but he used to work at the Beijing in the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences in the Institute of Ethnic Literature. So when he gave his description, so narrator understood that might be he was there to do his some field work. So right now we are discussing this much only. You just need to know that how author who was sitting alone, who was thinking about to complete the Ukora, how he met Norbu, and a description of Norbu, as well as that plastic is a major source for the exports from the Asia through the Silk Road. So the last portion we are left, we will do it in the next class, and then we will discuss the question answers also. So if any doubt you are still having it, please ask and clear your doubts. Thank you and God bless you all. And send your worksheets timely.